In a previous video, I covered the builder pattern for flexibly instantiating structures in Go. A viewer commented mentioning functional options, which serves the same purpose but is generally more popular. For example, when setting up a gRPC dialer, you may notice the dial options variadic. Hi, my name is Juani Bryson. Today we're going to look at using functional options to instantiate our own structures in Go. We will start by writing a client which pings a server. Then we're going to write a new function for that client which accepts some options, and then finally we'll show how to configure that client using functional options. First we'll create a new Go project with Go mod init, and then we're going to create a main.go file, give it the package name main, and create a main function. And inside here I want a client which will be a pointer to an http.client. And I want to set the default timeout to time.second. Next I'm going to get the response and the error to a call to client.head, which is effectively like pinging a URL. And the address I'm going to ping is www.juani.net. And if the error does not equal nil, then we're going to go format.printf and pass in the value of the error and then return. Otherwise, we're going to go format.printf and pass in the value of the response status. And if we save this and jump back into the terminal and call go run, we get status OK. So now we're going to create a new function which basically returns a pointer to an HTTP client. And inside here, we're just going to copy this code from main and paste it in here and then say return C. And then back in main, we still need a client, so we're just going to say C is equal to new. But we do want this new function to take functional options. So back up here, I'm going to say type option function that takes a pointer to an http.client. And then inside this new function, I'm going to use a variadic argument, which will be called options, which is equal to a variadic of option types. And then we're going to say for option in the range of options, we're then going to apply that option to the client. So now we can jump back into the terminal, and if we call go run, we still get the same result because nothing's really changed yet. So the new function works great, but it's not really being passed any options yet. So I'm going to create a function called with timeout, and I'm going to pass in an argument timeout of type time.duration here, and it's going to return an option. Inside here, we're just going to say return the function which takes an HTTP client, and we're going to set that client's timeout parameter to our input timeout. Back in main, we can now set our client's timeout using this with timeout option, and I'm going to pass time.microsecond here to really show that we're configuring this client with this option. So if we run this here, the microsecond should not be enough to actually get that HTTP request. And you can see here it's timed out. Of course, we can fix that back in the code by giving it a more reasonable timeout like time.second, and then run that again, and we're going to get the OK status. One of the great things about this pattern is that we can keep extending this new function without actually changing the new function at all. So for example, if we wanted to set the cookie jar for our client, we could go function with jar and then pass in a http.cookiejar and then return an option. And then inside here we can just say return, and again the same function signature, but then this time we say c.jar is equal to jar. So there's a lot of things that you can do now to configure your structures without affecting any of your previous APIs. Functional options are another technique to help keep the creation of structures in Go clean and maintainable. I've been Juani Bryson, happy coding, and I'll see you later.